So here's Churchill's later speech. Shortly, Professor Hayek's thesis is that socialism inevitably leads to despotism, and that in Germany the Nazis were able to succeed because the socialists had already done most of their work for them, especially the intellectual work of weakening the desire for liberty. Now, we have something very similar going on today, and I had a small disagreement about this with 9/9s. I don't think, she may now think, but didn't think before, that religion was back, so to speak, that religion is an enemy again. We thought it was defeated, and here we are fighting it again. Now, in the 20s and 30s, we look back on the 20s and 30s now as a period of statism, right? There are still some idiots around who think communism and fascism are opposites, but most of us who are educated understand that it was a period of statism and dictatorships. And there were different colors and flavors, and that's all there was to that. So today, it looks like there are a couple of sides in opposition to one another. And who's to say they're not in opposition? It's like communism and fascism were definitely in opposition. They opposed each other and allied with each other for some short time, but then ended up in war. So we can see how friendly they actually were with each other. But the same thing's going to be going on today. We're going to see the same thing with the fight against Islamofascists. There is a group in America who is fighting against America, and not necessarily for the fascists, but they're doing dirty work for the fascists. They might not agree with what the fascist Muslims are doing, but they are laying the groundwork for them, and that is the politically correct crowd, the people who say, don't offend. We don't want to offend anybody, right? They think that they're trying to calm the Muslims' fury, and they're trying to get us to be nice to the Muslims, and then we can all get along. What they're actually doing is paving the way for the Muslims to take over completely. And when that happens, some of those people will capitulate into the ranks of Muslim power if they can. They will try. As has happened before many times in these sorts of situations. Poor Europe. So the socialists had weakened the desire for liberty, and then the fascists were able to come in and be quite successful. By bringing the whole of life under the control of the state, socialism necessarily gives power to an inner ring of bureaucrats who in almost every case will be men who want power for its own sake and will stick at nothing in order to retain it. True, Ayn Rand said that the dictators and the bad people are always there. She said they can smell when society is ready to give them power, and they'll crawl out from under rocks and they'll appear. They are always there. They will come. The Gestapo had no problem finding soldiers to kick in babies' heads and stuff. They had no problem finding it. Continuing, Britain, he says, is now going the same road as Germany, with the left-wing intelligentsia in the van, and the Tory party a good second. Is he writing this about the 1930s or about the 1990s and 2000s? It seems like it could be for either. It is going the same way as Germany. Germany, has gone down this path quite far. They have separated schools for Muslims, state-run, state-paid-for Muslim schools for girls and Muslim schools for boys. They have separate entrances to schools that are mixed, where the Muslims go in this entrance and regular people go in other entrances. They have decided that they are going to deal with this threat by not judging these people, by just letting these people do what they want. They're just hoping it's going to go over okay. The only salvation lies in returning to an unplanned economy, free competition, and emphasis on liberty rather than security. Now, when the president says 40 million uninsured, why is security so important? Why not liberty? Why is liberty just not part of the discussion anymore? Why is how many people are uninsured, or how many people are jobless, or how many people are without homes, or how many people have this problem or that problem? Why is that what the government should be addressing? Because we're all interested in security rather than liberty. And like Dostoevsky says, offer a man bread and he'll wear chains. In the negative part of Professor Hayek's thesis, there is a great deal of truth. It cannot be said too often, at any rate. It is not being said nearly often enough, so maybe it could be said too often, but certainly isn't right now. That collectivism is not inherently democratic, but, on the contrary, gives to a tyrannical minority such powers as Spanish inquisitors never dreamed. Right? Just when you think religion is bad, just give somebody a new religion so that they can write in things that they want. Will they learn from the old religions and fix this new religion? No. They'll learn from the old religions and distill and refine it and make it even more grotesque. They took from religion the basis, worshiping one person, we all have a doctrine, we all believe, we're all going one way, there's a bright, radiant future in front of us. Either it's the apocalypse or socialism, the attainment of socialism, whatever, we're all going in the same direction together. But they had the chance to rewrite it, and what did they rewrite it as? Something more horrific than religion ever came up with. But I want to rework that sentence. I want to go back and do that one more time. I'm going to flip two words, and where he says, but on the contrary, I just change it to and. So here we are. Collectivism is inherently not democratic, rather than saying not inherently democratic. It is inherently not democratic. Now, Hitchens doesn't want to go that far because he's an old Marxist. He doesn't want to go so far as to say that's inherently undemocratic. But it is. Collectivism is inherently undemocratic and gives to a tyrannical minority such powers as the Spanish inquisitors never dreamed. For Orwell, skipping down a ways now, for Orwell, there was always the hope that socialists could be for freedom, even if socialism itself had bureaucratic and authoritarian tendencies. So, well, my beliefs always end up making slavery, but I believe in freedom. There's the importance of philosophy, ladies and gentlemen. You can't just say, I believe in freedom. Well, what should we do today? Well, let's go try to get everybody into a socialist state. Your views have to be connected to reality somehow, at some point. You can't just choose your views and choose your beliefs and think there's need not be any connection between the two. If you believe in trying to obtain socialism for people, you can't be a believer in freedom. Orwell invented the idea of doublethink, not the instance of it. That goes way back to Socratic philosophers, probably. He invented the idea of doublethink, but then he is involved in it just a little bit, advocating socialism as he does, and thinking that he can advocate freedom at the same time. Now, Ingsoc in 1984 was INGSOC, but that came from, just a short note here, I thought this was interesting, came from ENGSOC, which was the short term for English socialism. Ingsoc, ENGSOC, Ingsoc. Now, in 1984 it's INGSOC, but, okay, on to the next one. The point most often reiterated... Wait a minute? Yeah, we will wait a minute. Okay, now Hitchens asserts that the point most often reiterated by Orwell is that there should be no utilitarian trade-off between freedom and security. So, utilitarian meaning useful, practical. Freedom and security shouldn't be on a balance like this. We should be able to be free and secure at the same time. I mean, it's completely true. People in the society around us don't believe or understand that. They believe if we're free, if the banks can lend when they want to and how they want to, then we won't be secure. We'll all lose the shirts off our backs and we'll lose our job. So insecurity comes with freedom. That's not true. Look at the freedom of America. You immigrate here, you're on your own. You can keep your culture if you can get along by being in your old culture, or you can assimilate to ours. That's all there is to it. Welcome to America. In Europe, they will bend over backwards to make sure that you don't close down your roots, that you don't lose your roots. Now,